Hey guys, it's me again, the Zeitguy, and I'm sorry for the delay, but I had to review some of the information. Before I do these reviews, I actually watch the video in parts, and that way I can get filled in on what is the most important things, or the most important things to talk about. And the whole reason I'm doing all this is to promote the Venus Project and the Zeitgeist movement in order to continue to promote the Venus Project. So I'm just going to jump right into the review because I know you guys are excited, maybe, because obviously it's the most important part, but maybe you guys are waiting to hear my opinion. But as I already told you before, I believe that it is our future, and it will continue to be our future, and we just got to get the word out there and continue it. So I'm just going to start off with saying that this part is the third part of the Zeitgeist Addendum film, and I think you should watch the rest of the film. I don't think I'm going to continue doing the rest of this film because there is more information. It's mostly statistics. And as the next few films that I'll be doing, it's like an orientation guide. It really gives it a lot of detail. So I think I'll cover most of those things in future videos. But right now, I'm just going to talk about the Venus Project. So the words I like to use for this this part is self-preservation. This is the most important thing that we need, is our self-preservation. All we need is to take care of ourselves, and the question is, what exactly do we need, and what exactly don't we can live without. That is really what it comes down to. And so what you would have is you have to, before you talk about the Venus Project, you have to talk about the problems that it has, right? So if you're not happy with the world, or you're not happy with society and how the things work, then how do you go about to change it? Well, the first thing you have to do is to identify what exactly, what are the actual problems. And I just made a few points here, and like for instance, industry. Industry is a problem because it has to do with business, and business is all about profits. It really has nothing to do with with people. It has nothing to do with creating these products in order to help people. Maybe it did back then, way back when, but they're really it really isn't. Profit is the number one thing when it comes to the monetary system. That's what they really want to do. And industry is business, and it maintains that. So that is something you really have to understand. You can't trust people. They'll cheat to win. They will always. Businesses are always, they're always cheating in one way or another. The thing I like to say is, or say to people, is that every business transaction that occurs is someone stabbing someone else in the back all the time, and that's really what it is. It's because every business transaction is whatever business makes more, the other business or the competition or the opposing business, it makes less, right? And that's just a simple example. Now multiply that by thousands of businesses or millions of businesses, and and there you go. It's just constant, stabbing people in the back. So that's something you really have to understand. And another thing is politics. Politics is, like I mentioned before, politicians are put in place to keep things the same. They're not there to change anything. They always say that they're going to change something, but they don't. And this is something that you really have to understand. So you can't go right to your politicians if you want to get something done, even if it works. Remember, there's always an end game for them. So there's always something that they want and that they always get, because they have control over us. So that's another thing. And you have to understand that politicians are unintelligent. They don't know how to fix problems. They don't have the intelligence. Politicians are there to create laws and to declare war. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing else there. So when you believe in your politician, you're very conditioned, and you really have to open your eyes to the fact that this doesn't exist. You know, another great thing that you could say is, I believe it was quoted. I forget who quoted it, but it says, "Truly free people do not have to be told that they are free," and that is absolutely fantastic. You know, the capitalism that we're in, or fascism, or whatever you want to call it. You know, that is we're essentially living, working in a dictatorship. You know, it's slavery. You know, we don't have to. This doesn't have to happen. So in order to solve our problems, we have to identify what kind of problems we have, and they're not political at all. They're all technical. So what is the only thing that can solve a technical problem? Is a technical process, and the only thing that has a technical process is technology, and that is the most important part. You know, so this is what it comes down to. Technology is everything. They give you a few examples. And technology is a chair, it's a desk, it's a pair of eyeglasses they use. You know, it's a pencil. You know, so you can use that to solidify answers on paper. You know, you can everything we have, everything you look around, your entire house. You know, look around, everything is technology. We're thankful for technology, and the reason why we're thankful is because we have the power to create it. We have the power because we have the power of the creative human mind. You know, so this is really what it comes down to. What you really need and what's really going to benefit us is technology. It does. It benefits us already. Now, it's been slowed down on purpose because of profits. You know, to develop technology, restrictions. You know, like when you're doing research and development, you need a grant in order to get, or money funding. You know, you need to get your research, and if you make progress, they will continue. If you don't make progress, then you're on the fence. You know, they're either going to shut your project down or not. That's not the way things should work. I mean, if you should just have access to the resources and just continue. You know, just work that creative mind of yours. Get other people, other creative minds. Don't discriminate people because they're less intelligent than you. You know, that's the whole thing. So this is, you really have to change your mindset. Technology is the only thing that makes our lives better. It's not money, that's for sure, because you can't eat money. It's garbage. That's the only thing. So then we have to go into why is it all slowed down? I mean, how come we can't excel the way we can, that we want to? And that's because of scarcity. We're convinced that things don't exist. You know, we're convinced that we have limited resources, and so we can charge more, or so companies can charge more to make more money. If they can convince the public that there's a war going on when there isn't, that's an amazing thing. If they can convince the public that that diamonds are scarce, then they could jack up the price. Like that's what it is. So scarcity is what drives our economy. And then you add competition into that, and then people think it's a natural thing, that we're just born this way. And it's not. So this is a reason why technology has, it's not failing. It does excel. However, it doesn't excel at the rate that it can. And I mean, we are far beyond. There are technologies out there that we just think, yeah, right, that just can't be done. And it can be done. So that is something you really have to understand. So the Venus Project is an image of a resource-based economy, and in Jacques Fresco, he's the brains behind the whole thing. He's a social engineer, He's a designer. He's a futurist, and his designs are what the future could look like. You know what I mean? The technologies probably will become real, but the way that the Venus Project is showed out, all laid out and everything, and the way that it works, that's what it could work. You're not just designing things just to make our lives better, you're also designing a society intelligently. As like, for instance, there's an example I've heard of, Jacques Fresco talk about it. Make a grocery store, except it's not a grocery store, it's a distribution center, because things would be free. And you make it circular. That way people don't have to walk all the way down to the other end. You know what I mean? That's designing something more intelligently, designing society more intelligently. Or another example is transportation. We need to get from point A to point B, but we don't necessarily need a car in order to do